What's going on, guys? It's your boy League John, and today I've got an interesting topic for us to discuss. Now, as we all know, everyone is running to the banks and begging for their mom's credit card to get ready for these new project skins. 3 new project skins include Project Ash, Echo, and Project Katarina. With this, Riot also released a recent promotion for these skins, adding a lot more clues to the expanding lore of this futuristic, the Jetsons-like universe they have created. So I did a lot of my own research and theory making to dissect all these possible hints Riot could have left us. And I tried doing another video, but there was just so much evidence and things I wanted to talk about, and ended up being 40 minutes long, and this was before the Project Ash interactions even dropped. So to avoid uploading a documentary, I tried, cutting things out and trying to make it as concise as possible. So I don't know if I'm going to be going too fast or it might not be as detailed, but there's a rewind and pause button on YouTube. I would suggest you use it. So without any further ado, let's get right into it, starting with Project itself. What is the point of Project? What is Project? And there's an article in the wiki that perfectly summarizes this whole point.
Project is the perfect fusion of one supernatural essence with advanced weaponry and body augmentation. This linking of technology and energy allows extraordinary hosts to channel their essence into physical manifestations and, in rare cases, transcend the corporeal plane. Only subjects possessing extremely focused inner essence and exceptional physical attributes can unlock the true power of Project.
Thought it'd be cool if I had Project Timo come in, make an appearance, and voice that over for me. Actually, it was just some random thing online. But moving on, the scientists behind designing these Project Champions would manipulate these hosts, aka champions, in order for them to be able to use their bodies. Proven when Ash says things like,
"Lead us back to what we've lost."
So the champions were blackmailed, hoodwinked, bamboozled into this agreement. While the scientists began installing this new cybernetic equipment to their bodies, they would also attempt to remove their memories, or as art lead Riot Lisa Thorne would put it, she specifically used the word humanity. And many of the champions realized this, and they would retaliate before the scientists would even get a chance to finish their job. And this leads us to the point we're at now, where projects are in a war with themselves, with their creators, and just on a quest for vengeance. So now that we get the gist of it, it's time to go Sherlock John and really delve into all the clues Riot has been dropping. And we're also going to go through each project's role in the lore. So before I want to get into all the project champions themselves, it's important to know in the very first promotion Riot released for the first 6 skins, they teased the champion by showing all of this equipment that they had on their website. The design seems to be a database of some sort, maybe the ones the scientists used to upload and document all of this weaponry. But when you take a closer look, every single project champion has their ultimate ability and description just labeled as unknown, nothing else. And it's always located at their core or their chest, conveniently, right? This could mean that every project champion still has some humanity still left in them at their core, because of this unknown feature, aka humanity. But if not that, it's at least an indication that all projects are unfinished. It wouldn't make sense for them to not name and give a description of their project's ultimate capability, but they would also label all the other abilities that they have. Also, listening to Project Ash's new special interactions and messing around with the latest promotion, Project Disruption, on their website, all of these codes that you type in on the website are actually codes the scientists implanted in these projects. During the special interaction with Project Fiora, Ash says,
"Your code will get you killed one day if you aren't careful."
And Fiora's code on the teaser is challenge. So it makes sense for Fiora to die in combat for seeking a challenge that was possibly too great for her to overcome. So my best guess is these project champions retain their normal personality, but when it comes to things like combat, they're driven by the certain code that the scientists implanted in them. And I think Ash is trying to break everyone free from this program, this code, or at least reduce its power. And Ash's code in the website is Unity, and she's trying to unify all of these projects, so it just makes perfect sense. So now let's talk about individual project champions, their role, and the hints Riot has dropped to support my theories. So let's start with the first 6 that were released: Yi, Leona, Fiora, Lucian, Zed, and Yasuo.
A perfect anomaly.
Yi was the only legendary skin to come out of his group of project skins, just like Ash, So he must have an important role like she does, and I'm here to tell you he does. He was the emphasis in the first trailer released, and his story basically reveals what the scientists are really trying to do with their Project Champions, remove their memories, their humanity, etc., etc. His memories were in the middle of being wiped away, shown by having constant hallucination of his past of being a samurai. These hallucinations were very powerful, oftentimes leaving Yi stumbling over. Now, in the beginning, while the scientist was probing or whatever he was doing with that drill to Yi, he tried drilling this gauntlet, and that's when Yi felt a powerful shock and used the force to send him back. So Yi is secretly a Jedi. Well, wrong story? Oh, alright, my bad. This gauntlet, though, is also responsible for activating his ultimate. You'll see it glow up every time he activates it, which not once, but twice made this powerful explosion of energy. So this semi-complete gauntlet makes him an anomaly, as Ash would put it, so he probably retains more humanity than most champions, since he can draw these flashbacks, and the others don't seem to show any signs of struggling with their flashbacks while they're in combat. They're not struggling over like he is. So when he activates his ultimate, he's basically channeling his inner essence to unlock the true power of Project, just like I said in the beginning. To summarize all of this, he's the Project Universe's first Super Saiyan. He's the only one to unlock this true power of Project. So he is the most powerful project in this universe, but he cannot control all this power due to this incomplete form and memory problems. And also, Yi is the only one who removes his entire project in game, but he's also one of the only ones to remove any piece of the project armor in game, aside from Ash, who can only remove her helmet. But the fact that Yi does this uncontrollably, and this uncontrollable yet powerful form of Yi makes him the perfect anomaly, just like I said.
She remembers sunlight.
There's not really that much to say about Leona. In the trailer, we did get a glimpse of her sword and shield, along with Yi's sword right to the left of that, but that doesn't leave us much to say about Leona's current state, where she is, how she's doing, etc., etc. All we know is that she is alive, and she is a major asset to Ash's army. But she did give us a hint of the scientists' true intentions. I believe the people behind the project line are currently using all of these weapons for mass production. They have a database of all the project's champions' weaponry and armor, and we could see the scientists tampering with their sword and shield in the beginning. Heavy indication that they have some interest in the weaponry of these champions. The line in the promotion, the newest promotion that just came out, doesn't really give us more information either. But one important thing to take away from all of this is that Leona and Yi were most likely made in the same lab, as both of their weapons were found in the same lab, but not Fiora or Lucian's, who arrived later in the trailer. This is a very important number to note for later, but my guess in all of this is that Leona is the protector while Ash is the leader.
We must act with precision.
Project Fiora is an interesting one. We don't know how much humanity was removed from her. She seems robotic, yet shows a lot of human-like features through empathy by placing her hand on his shoulder, seeing him struggle with his flashbacks. So we do know she's an ally of Ash, given through her special interaction, and in the promotion message, Ash says,
Act with precision.
And as you can see, Ash uses the word we to indicate she's on the same side. She did arrive to save Yi along with Lucian and ended up in a conflict with Zed. I think Ash was the one who sent Fiora and Lucian to go get Yi, as Ash is trying to band together all of these project champions for something big.
Our enemies require corrective action.
Project Lucian seems to be relatively in the same boat as Fiora. Vengeance is his code, and I believe Ash promised him this vengeance by fighting back against his own creators, and that's how she got him on her side. It's also very important to note that the champions' previous lore and their personality is still the same or relatively the same even with this new project lore. Riot made that obvious with quotes in the interactions to Lucian like,
We've all lost people we care about. It's up to us to make sure no more are taken.
Also being shown previously with Yi's flashbacks of being a samurai. Also keep in mind, Fiora and Lucian are traveling together, most likely because they were created in the same lab, so they're strong allies, and that's why Ash either sent them to travel together or they wanted to travel together. How do I know? When Fiora almost got hit by a shuriken, Lucian was there to save her ass back outside where he was posted while Fiora went to go get Yi. So like I said before, do not forget this important fact. Leona and Yi were made in the same lab, while it is likely Fiora and Lucian were making the same lab. So far this is sort of creating a theme of two champions made per laboratory.
A shadow of a man.
Now we get to Project Z, basically the Darth Vader of this whole thing. You know, he's on the dark side, he has red glowing weapons, and he has a personality that fits. In the trailer, he's shown fighting the 3 other Project champions. Many believe Zed is just a program and they took him over completely. He's batshit crazy. But that is false because, as we said before, he's unknown to the core and still has a slight connection to Ash, even though it is very weak and glitchy. And this is the main reason why Ash has a hard time retrieving his code. He's so far removed from humanity, he's on the brink of being a robot. But regardless, he still has some in him, hence being a shadow of a man. So, why does he attack other Project champions if he still has his consciousness? The best way to put this is because he's fucking Zed. Let's not forget what I said before, that the main lore is connected to this current Project lore. And Zed, isn't that the guy who chopped his master's head off, used forbidden arts to beat his peers, and became the leader of some shadow warrior empire? Yeah, that's the guy. As power hungry as he is in the lore, that transcends here to this one. He does anything to pursue more power regardless of the consequences. So now that we established that Zed is evil, what is his goal? Is he being controlled? Well, this is where I had 2 theories. Just like in the lore, he may be trying to influence the other projects to join his side and start an army of his own. In the Alpha Strike trailer, he says his signature line, "Do not fear the shrouded path," basically telling the champions to ignore and accept their bad past and join him. Yes, it is his original line, but when you listen to the other quotes Rise decides to use in this First Strike trailer, they all make sense in the context of the lore, so don't call me crazy. Also, keep in mind that these skins Riot release are planned months and months ahead. They put pictures of a new champion in an internet cafe in Spain for. Don't tell me that this isn't fucking possible. Theory number 2. Zed was promised more power in order to stop these projects from fighting back. They probably promised him even better equipment, more power, which Zed would be prone to accept. But he's fucking Zed, so they didn't manage to take all of his consciousness, and it gives more reason why Ash still has some sort of established connection to Zed, but just barely. And I believe this second theory is more plausible than the first.
We're on the right path.
Okay, Riot. Where the hell is Yasuo in all of this? No weapon teasers, wasn't in the trailer, no loading screen border released with the others, and they acknowledged him in the YouTube description here alongside Leona, yet no teaser trailer. So, I mean, I get it. His skin wasn't released at the same time as the others, but they still decided to include his name in the description. So my thought process is, why do you even acknowledge him in the description if he's not even going to be a part of the trailer at all? Leaving his name completely erased would have the same effect. Nobody would have noticed. And also, as you can see here, his status is unknown, just like Leona. So I try to come up with my own theory here. Do you guys remember what I said in the beginning about this 2 champion per lab theory? So there was 6 champions mentioned in the first bunch, Fiora and Lucian, and we know they were created together. Leona and Yi were created together. Zed, and that's right, Yasuo. I also believe Yasuo turned out evil, just like Zed, coming from the same laboratory. So before you Yasuo mains start sending me death threats, or you Yasuo lovers calling me stupid because I call them evil, hear me out. Like I said before, the main lore is connected to this project lore, and Yasuo's past is filled with guilt and regret of killing his own brother and being responsible for the death of his master. So if someone came up and promised to erase all of these traumatizing memories, you don't think Yasuo would at least consider it, especially when they're promising him a more cybernetic gear? And not only that, the creators could have blackmailed him, making him do their bidding for the truth like his code says. The scientists are able to alter memories, so maybe they could have a way to replay the scene of his master dying in his head, and he could find out who did it that way, or probably more likely, They have a large database. They have a lot of information. Who says they don't have any information about these Noxus soldiers that went and attacked his homeland and killed his master? Not to mention his quote in the Alpha Strike trailer is not really a friendly one like the rest.
The road to ruin is shorter than you think.
Also, his color scheme is close to the color red like Zed. Also, in the special interaction, Ash reveals she did try to persuade him.
They warned me not to trust you. Once a traitor, always a traitor.
So, just like Zed ended up fighting 3 other Project Champions, I also believe Yasuo will end up fighting 3 Project Champions as well. And the 3 that just came out, Ash, Katarina, and Echo. So now it kind of makes more sense why his loading screen border was grouped with this specific project group and not released with the others. It just doesn't really make that much sense why they wouldn't release a loading screen border for Yasuo, especially if they already have the design template already made. I don't think it's just a coincidence. I mean, although Yasuo mains, I know you don't really like this concept of him being evil, but fear not, because in the latest promotion it indicates he's at now good, or at least he's on the right path as it says. So maybe the fight ended in a stalemate, and so he's basically a good walking vigilante like he is in the lore, or he could just be directly fighting alongside Ash now, who knows. But the connection is there, and it isn't glitchy like Zed's, so he's good now.
Lead us back to what we've lost.
So now that we're done with the first 6 Project Champions, let's move on to the next 3 that are being released very soon. Project Ash, Echo, and Katarina. Project Ash is undoubtedly the leader, saying quotes like,
If anything ever happens to me, it's up to you to finish
and
this.
her code being Unity. But there's some other interesting things to take note about her. She is a very powerful person in this lore. She's like the mother computer of this whole thing. This disruption promotion is basically Ash's interface. If you put on her visor, this is probably what you would see. Somehow she obtained files of every single Project Champion, and this is how I think Ash was able to locate Yi's whereabouts and send Fiora and Lucian to him. I believe she is also able to communicate to every Project Champion through this system, especially Echo. She speaks directly to him, and it's long distance because one quote on Echo's screen, she says,
Kid, you copy?
She wouldn't ask Echo, is he there, if she was standing right beside him. And this also explains why she can't really convince Zed, because there's a weak link between her and Zed. I believe Ash has the most humanity left in her out of all of the projects in this universe. She's the only Project Champion who controllably removes pieces of her armor. She's also the only one that shows full facial features, face being a symbol of her connection to humanity. So how she got her powers, we don't know. Maybe she was designed to be this leader in the first place, but she used this power to then lead a revolution, or she might have did what Yi did, cause an explosion and upload these files by force. She reveals that the scientists lied to all these champions, backing up what I said and most of my other claims, especially about Zed and Yasuo.
Alter our odds.
Project Echo will surprisingly be very, very important in this lore alongside Yi. I believe Echo is the key to restoring humanity back in the projects, or at least freeing them from some of this programming. His weapon has the ability to affect time. Let's think about it. He can probably find a way to use his power to restore memories or revert something in this program back to when it wasn't influenced by this malicious code. Ash also says during the Project Disruption trailer, he will even the odds when open up the files for his weapon, and his code is freedom. Freedom, freeing, explains a lot. Also, he is listed as the only direct ally of Ash in the wiki, probably because he came from the same lab as Ash, hence why the connection between them is so strong, and Ash has a nickname for him in the first place.
Sinister by choice.
Project Katarina seems like a nicer Zed, to put it that way. She's malicious by intent, but she doesn't go to the extreme as Zed does, especially for his lust for power. In the Project Disruption trailer promotion, she's the only one that has a multicolored background, red and blue. Red usually associates with evil, power, Zed. Blue is obviously good, associates with unity / Ash. So basically she does what she wants. She's sinister by choice. And I believe right now in the storyline where it is, Ash is on the pursuit to get Katarina because she does tell Echo it's time to go. And on Katarina's weapon file, it says keep a sharp lookout for her. So I don't think they're allies yet, but that's going to be happening very soon because, as I said before, Yasuo is probably on the pursuit of fighting these 3 project champions, and somehow they're going to end up being allies at the end of it. And also in the Ash's special interactions, even if Katarina is on the ally or the enemy side, it still seems like Ash is a little unsure, or she just became an ally of Ash, when there's one quote of ally team Katarina that says,
joining us was the right decision. You'll see.
Indicating that there wasn't that a lot of certainty behind Katarina and her willingness to join her, because you don't see anything close to this with like Echo or Fiora, even if they're on the enemy or ally side. Now, before I begin to start wrapping things up here and reach a conclusion, I did say earlier that Project Echo does have the ability to reverse some of this programming, which may be true, but now that I think about it, there is another possibility that this project may be another universe, or there is some indication said here that they're trapped somewhere and they need to get out. I don't know what that is. It might be this project thing might be like a separate universe and they need to get out. I don't know. That's reaching, but there's maybe a building, a laboratory. They need to get out of somewhere, and Echo is the key to getting out. So that could also be what the code name Freedom implies, but I'm gonna leave the other clip of me saying all of that rest of the reversing programming stuff, because that also might be a possibility. So I'm not just gonna take that out of the video entirely, but I'm starting to not believe what I said earlier. I'm kind of convinced that they're trapped somewhere and Echo is just the key to getting out. And also, for you guys just think I'm reaching in general about this whole entire thing, I did look at the LOL boards, and I want to give a big shout out to my man Green Lore. He did make a post about Ash's role in this entire universe, and a writer did post on it, so they're acknowledging that they're putting some storyline behind this. Alright, starting to wrap things up. You guys forgot, didn't you? I told you not to forget. We talked about this 2 champion per lab theory. We know Yi and Leona together, same lab. Fiora and Lucian, same lab. Zed and Yasuo, same lab. Ash and Echo, same lab. Katarina and... fuck. I must have forgot one. Project Timo, Project Yurgot, Yorick. No. I wouldn't make a penny off of that. Fuck it. So this theory must be wrong? Hold on. What the fuck? Do you guys see that metal spaghetti there in the background? Yes, that's right. Battlecast Vel'Koz being teased there in the background, along with some drone, probably a Battlecast drone with some Z-looking claws. How did that drone get those Z-looking claws? Probably had to do with the mass production of weapons that I talked about in the beginning. So anyway, Battlecast Vel'Koz and Katarina most likely made in the same lab, but Vel'Koz literally has no consciousness and is just a floating hunk of metal, tentacle, and hentai mass destruction. So that's what separates projects from Battlecast. Battlecasts are probably completed projects that literally have no conscience at all, while projects are literally projects. They're unfinished, they're incomplete, and they still retain this consciousness or their humanity. So now, is this setting up a big Battlecast versus Project War? Because as seen in the original 6 Project Champion splash art, they are sock'em bopping all of these robots who also seem to be these Battlecast drones. And now, who is the leader behind Battlecast? Maybe this guy who was teasing Battlecast skins years before they were released. Yeah, with all the buffs he's been getting, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy is giving some attention in this lore, especially because he's the only non-project champion Project Ash has a special interaction with. Well, besides regular Ash, but that doesn't really count. I mean, there's robots, so Viktor has to be involved some way. The real question is, who is the real enemy, Viktor or Zed? Are they on the same team? This is what hasn't been answered yet. My guess is that Viktor, or whoever is behind all of this, is making an army for world domination, and the only people to stop him are the Mighty Morphin Project champions. Okay, well, got all of this off of my chest. I hope this excites you guys to go out there and buy these project streams just like me, and appreciate this intriguing new lore that Riot has created. I'll definitely be leading the bot lane with Project Ash when she comes out. You guys get it? Get it? Get it? No? Alright, I'll be leaving. It's been your boy, League John, and I'm out.